you. Happy Friday.
Not to change the subject, but in order to segue into my question, I want to note that it is most certainly, as you're aware, spiritual warfare in Chicago, and the tone at the top theory is certainly
Yes.
true. So, but my question is actually
Absolutely.
regarding, uh, according to a Harvard study, which I don't really care for Harvard personally, but I'm curious to know your thoughts on this. A significant portion of Gen Z, as you're probably aware, identifies as Catholic, and the percentage of Gen Z is increasing from 15% to 21%. Some say that it is they're finding a meaning in traditional religion. And albeit at the end of the day, I'm grateful for them to seek the truth regardless of the denomination, but I can't help but be curious of what is attracting them to the Catholic Church versus Protestant. Is it the tradition aspect of it? And what does that say for the Protestant Church? Because I have my own personal feelings about Catholicism versus Protestant and my own personal beliefs. But my nephew, he is actually a perfect demonstration. He's in college right now, and he's joined a Christian fraternity, and really surprising my entire family with how much he is clinging to God. And I'm excited for him. But I'm just hoping to better understand or get your thoughts on it.
Sure, it's a great question. Well, first of all, thank you, Leanne. I've covered this a little bit in the past, but let me do my best. So, first of which is, it's great that they're going back to church. It's amazing. It's that they're putting God first. I'm evangelical. I'm not Catholic, but I have great respect for Catholics. And my wife was baptized and confirmed as a Catholic, and we go to Mass every so often. And I'm great friends with Father Klein, who does a great job in Arizona, and I think the world of Catholics, and I get a lot of heat for saying that. But understand that this is largely a failure of the evangelical church. The evangelical church has become very, very feminine. It's become an incredible feminized. And I don't just mean female pastors, that's part of it, but young men do not want to hear a sermon from a woman. They just don't. I know that might sound a little sexist, but they want to hear direction and order that points them up. They do not want a self-help seminar. They want high church aesthetics. And evangelical Christianity has a certain vibe that not all people go for. The high church versions of Protestantism has fallen off hard. And unfortunately, too many of these churches have gone woke. They don't want to hear an emotion or feeling based. And the liturgy of the Catholic Church is very, very appealing and attractive to young men. It points you up. It is about self-introspection. It is about being contrite for your sins. And also, it is not just a TED Talk mixed with a rock concert. But I'm with you, Leanne, probably theologically. I'm an evangelical Christian Protestant. But I'm very moved by a lot of people going back to the Catholic Church. And honestly, I don't disagree with some of it. I've said this before, and some people don't like it. I get hate mail. I don't like to go to church in some that feels like a Home Depot or a Costco. I want to go to church in a place that's beautiful with stained glass windows, that points us up, that challenges me, that lifts my soul, that makes me try to get closer to the transcendent, that is real and that will not change, that is everlasting, that is not going to just move with the culture, but will stand against it. And so I've talked to a lot of pastors about this. They don't really understand what's happening. But I look at some, but not all, but some of the leaders in the evangelical church, like Russell Moore and Rick Warren, and I can see why kids are leaving. They're arguing for open borders, BLM, vaccine mandates. Increasingly, so many leaders in the evangelical church are all about gay pride flags. You know what? The Catholic Church, they're great on marriage. They're great on family. They're great on abortion. They're great on kids not getting transgender surgeries. So young men feel challenged. They feel called towards adventure. And the revival largely is happening amongst young men more so than young women. But evangelicals need to take note. Evangelicalism is looked at as increasingly unattractive, unappealing, shape-shifting, not constant. And I hear all the feedback from young men, and I can tell you the vast majority of young people I talk to are going to the Catholic Church, and they are really not convinced by much of what is being presented in the modern Protestant world. And I say that as an evangelical Christian. With that, I say what a wonderful week. Shabbat Shalom. Let's liberate Chicago. Have a wonderful weekend.